Welcome to the Lure of Temptation. Each story is a personal encounter with weakness, through which each person will rise up to escape the traps of temptation around. And today we come to the topic, gambling addiction, why you always lose. The math behind the house edge. Ever wonder why casinos always win, even when you think you're on a hot streak? The answer isn't luck. It's math. And today, we're pulling back the curtain. They don't need to cheat. The house edge is designed to drain your wallet slowly and silently. And it's working better than you think. Millions walk in thinking they'll beat the odds. Few walk out winners. This video shows you the mathematical trap you've been falling into without knowing. When you step onto a casino floor, the lights are dazzling, the sounds electrify your senses, and there's one promise that seems to hang in the air: the thrill of winning big. It feels like anyone could hit it lucky, if just for one spin or one hand. But behind every roulette wheel, every deck of cards, every flashing slot machine, is a carefully calculated system designed to make sure the house always comes out ahead. The truth is, whether in an elegant casino, a bustling sportsbook, or an online betting site, the odds are stacked against players. And it's not a matter of superstition or luck. It's basic mathematics. To understand why gamblers almost always lose in the long run, you have to understand something called the house edge. This is a term that might sound complex, but it's surprisingly simple. It refers to the mathematical advantage that the casino, or the house, has over the players on any given game. For every $100 you gamble, the house expects to keep a small percentage as profit, no matter how skillful or lucky you might feel. That advantage is baked into every game, and while you might beat the odds in the short term, in the long term, the math always wins. Consider roulette, a classic casino game. The wheel features 38 pockets in American roulette, the numbers 1 through 36, plus a 0 and a 00. If you place a bet on a single number and it hits, you're paid 35 to 1, meaning for your $1 bet, you'd win 35, but your actual odds of winning are 1 in 3/8. If the game were perfectly fair, you'd win 30 for your $1 bet, reflecting the 1 in 38 odds. But because casinos only pay $35, that difference is the house edge. Do the math over thousands of spins, and the house holds a built-in advantage of about 5.26%. For every 1,000 wagered, the casino expects to pocket roughly $52, whether or not you walk away a winner that day. Slot machines, with their colorful screens and catchy jingles, offer even less favorable odds. The house edge on slots can range anywhere from 2% to over 15%, depending on the machine and casino regulations. Each spin is random, but over millions of plays, the payout percentage ensures the casino makes steady profits. You'll see stories of the rare jackpot winner, but for every person who wins big, thousands have walked away behind, chasing a win that statistically may never come. But why is the house edge such a sure thing? The answer lies in probability and expected value. In every game, the payout odds are calculated so that over a long series of bets, the returns awarded to winners are slightly less than the total money wagered. That gap is what keeps casinos in business. Even in games where skill seems to matter, like blackjack or poker, math reigns supreme. In blackjack, a player using perfect strategy can whittle down the house edge to less than 1%, and card counters can tilt the odds briefly in their favor. But the average player, using typical tactics or making mistakes, faces a house edge closer to 2%. Casinos know this, which is why they allow certain games to be played. For most people, their mistakes and misjudgments give an edge back to the house. And even for the skilled, the casino has measures like shuffling cards more frequently and watching for unusual betting to blunt the advantage. Games like craps or baccarat are structured so that if you place the smart bets, the house edge is low, sometimes even under 1%. But most casual players are drawn to the flashier, riskier bets, where the house edge rises dramatically. It's not just cunning, it's design. Every rule, every payout, every option has been weighed and tweaked to ensure a profit over hundreds of thousands of bets. Mathematicians and statisticians have pored over these games for decades, and the conclusion is always the same. The longer you play, the more closely your actual results will reflect the mathematical predictions. This is called the law of large numbers. In the short term, variance can play in your favor. Maybe you hit a blackjack streak. Maybe the slots seem hot. But as your number of bets climbs into the hundreds or thousands, the house edge asserts itself with brutal consistency. Given enough time, it is almost impossible to walk out ahead. There's also a psychological element that makes players especially vulnerable. Casinos are built to exploit human biases and instincts. Players remember the near misses, the excitement of almost hitting the jackpot, and they often convince themselves that persistence will pay off. The occasional win reinforces a dangerous optimism, what psychologists call losses disguised as wins. These are small payouts that don't cover the money wagered, but trigger the same pleasure receptors as an actual win. Over hours and days, these fake wins trick players into spending more. Gambling addiction thrives in this environment. The hope of a turnaround, the thrill of risk, the belief that luck is just around the corner. But underneath it all, the house edge is the unyielding force. It doesn't matter how hot you feel or how long you chase your losses. The percentages do not lie. The more you play, the more likely you are to lose. Some try to beat the system through complex betting strategies like the martingale system, where players attempt to recoup losses by doubling down each time. But the math doesn't budge. Table limits, sudden bad streaks, and simple arithmetic make these strategies doomed to fail over the long run. For every so-called system, there are thousands of players left disappointed, poorer, and still chasing a mythical advantage. Casinos are not just risking money on probability. They're running a business based on certainty. The food, the free drinks, the lavish surroundings are all funded by the reality that the odds always tilt in their favor. For the average gambler, the best-case scenario is walking away after a lucky streak, before the law of large numbers has its way. But this is rare. Most keep playing, subconsciously believing they can buck the math until the odds catch up. Understanding the house edge is the ultimate antidote to the myth of gambling. The math is unyielding, unemotional, and ever-present. The games are engineered to entertain, to allure, to thrill. But fundamentally, they are machines for turning hopes and wagers into profit for those who own them. It's not about being smart or lucky or determined. The best way to win is not to play at all, or to approach gambling for entertainment, spending only what you can afford to lose, never as a means to make money. Remember this the next time you're tempted by the promise of easy winnings. The house edge is always there, quietly taking its share, turning every game into a sure thing. For the house, not for you. You can't beat a system that was built for you to lose, but you can walk away. Understanding the math is your first step to freedom. Don't let odds dictate your life. If this opened your eyes, like, share, and subscribe to The Lure of Temptation, where we expose what truly keeps you trapped and how to break free.